we forget history, we're doomed to repeat it. We've heard that time and time again. We normally don't think that we could repeat history, quickly. Like if something terrible happened, let's take the Holocaust. We wouldn't think that we would repeat something like the Holocaust for maybe 1,000 years, or maybe 200 years, or whatever. Or eugenics. We don't think we would repeat that, in the same lifetime as the people who originally realized that eugenics was evil. But we're repeating a lot of these things right now. When you look at the anti-Semitism that is going on in this country, and maybe around the world, I don't know. It's shocking. When you have college students shouting to the river, from the river to the sea, what they're saying is, push the Jews into the ocean. Now, some of them don't realize that. Some of them are just unwitting dupes. But some of them do realize it and don't care. When we see 2 billion people as victims and 12 to 16 million as the perpetrators, that's the population. 2 billion Muslims against 12 to 16 million Jews. And you're able to convince a population that those 12 to 16 million people are somehow detrimental to the 2 billion. You would think that's impossible to do, but we're doing it as we speak. Right now, today, in 2026, we're doing it. It's mind-boggling. You still have some people alive from the Holocaust, and we're doing it. Most of us, we weren't alive, but most people would think that when Adolf Hitler put a gun to his head and pulled the trigger, that ended. That ended that terrible reign, that evil way of thinking. People stopped with eugenics. They stopped. They understood what the Nazi Party had did to the Jews, not just the Jews, but the Gypsies, but it ended. But it didn't end. It's back. And it's being spread quickly on social media. We no longer need some guy with a funny mustache standing on top of a table in a bar preaching and railing against the Jews and Zionists, things like that. We don't need that anymore. We've got social media now. And so everybody can do it. And they do it. And they think there's some revelation to what they listen to some fool on YouTube or TikTok, and they think there's some grand revelation. October 7th happens, where Israelis are beaten, murdered, raped, tortured held hostage. And somehow the people who did that are the victims. How did we get here? We're supposed to be smarter than our ancestors. We're supposed to be more educated than our ancestors. We're falling for this probably as fast, if not faster, than the Germans did in the 1930s. Here we are. So many people out there buying into it. And if you push back, oh man, the names you're called. What's funny is, we had so vilified the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan in this country, that you hardly ever hear from them anymore. Right? I mean, when's the last time you heard of a Klan rally somewhere? It just doesn't happen anymore. They all went underground because nobody likes them. Nobody likes the Klan except other Klan members. Right? Even people who may have a prejudice against people say, yeah, man, but you know, that Klan, no, I can't do that. That's ridiculous. You no longer need the Klan. You've got mainstream people who act worse than the Klan did. And what the thing is, it's no longer a racial thing. You have white people, black people, Asian people, Hispanic people, indigenous people, and they're all you know, on social media railing on the Jews, railing on Israel. Now they never tell you that you can't be a Jew in Gaza, but you can be a Muslim in Israel. They always neglect to tell you that. And then you see the queers from Palestine, and you're like, are you serious? Do you not know that they would kill you if you were over there? But they don't care. They'd rather be thrown off a building than be seen on the side of the Jews. And I don't know how many times I've heard people say, well, you know, it's those big-nosed people. And I always say, who's the big-nosed people? Now, I know who they mean, but, you know, I like to play on their ignorance. You know, I'll say something like, what do you mean, people have big noses? I don't understand. Is there some sort of detriment, you know, or some sort of war being planned by people with large noses or something? You know, like I said, I know what they mean, but I just, you know, they're so ignorant. And you hear that and you're thinking, my God, it's the 1930s all over again. This is how it was done. Only back then they didn't have social media. But they had flyers, they had newspapers, they had radio. They had speeches, public speeches. Now we've got social media, and it spreads like wildfire. You get somebody on YouTube, and then they start talking this crap, and people just eat it up, man. They become cult followers. This is how it happened before, right? How many times, when I was younger, when I was in school, and we studied the Holocaust and World War II, and you think, how did the Germans must have been just evil people, because how could they have fallen for this unless they were already evil people? Well, it's happening right now. As we speak, it's happening in the West. So before we get on our high horse about Germany in the 1930s, holy crap, look at what we're doing here. Well, we've got a bunch of little mini Hitlers out there on YouTube and TikTok and all other areas of social media that are feeding you this crap, and you're buying it. believing it. And what's really infuriating to me is when Christians buy into it. We're living in 1930s Germany. Only, you can make a bit of an excuse for the 1930s Germany. Those people were living under extreme sanctions after World War I. People were starving. They had no money. The economy was in the toilet. And Hitler came along and gave these people somebody to blame, the Jews. Even though the Jews had nothing to do with it. And he was going to revitalize Germany, make it a powerful nation, and people would be prosperous again, and this and that. And people were desperate. We're not desperate over here. I mean, we're not starving. There's absolutely no reason for this. This is decades and decades of leftist ideology being pushed on us in the schools and in media. We're mutilating children right now in the name of tolerance. You've got Hollywood celebrities who claim all of their kids are trans. They got 4 kids and they're all trans. It's Munchausen by proxy is what it is. I want to have a trans kid so I can be a more interesting person. There was even a celebrity who said that, I can't remember her name now, who said, having trans children makes me a more interesting person. It's about her. It's not about her kids. She says the quiet part out loud. So if you can mutilate your own children, why can't you hate the Jews? Why can't you? In ancient times, in ancient times, I blinded that guy accidentally. Pagans would sacrifice their children to Baal, right? They would have this big iron statue, and they would heat it, and they would put their children on it, and it would burn them alive. And then the priest would beat drums and play music to try to drown out the screaming of the children. In case you want to know why God told the children of Israel to wipe these people out, that's why. We read those passages in the New Testament and think, wow, God was mean. I mean, look what he did. He wiped all these people out. That's why. They were sacrificing their own children. We think, oh, we're so much more educated than that today. Oh, those were a bunch of pagans. They're worshiping all these weird gods and stuff like that. We don't do that today. Really? We don't? We're doing it right now. We're mutilating our children for your God of tolerance and inclusion. That's your God. Transgenderism, that's your God. I don't want to offend anyone. That's your God. You are Baal worshipers. We would never fall for that. It's all the Jews' fault thing like they did in Germany. There's something wrong with those German people. They're just all evil or something. There's no way we're an educated population like modern America would ever fall for them. Those people were just so stupid and backwards back then. We're doing it now. We're doing it now. Only, like I said, we don't have the excuse of we're starving and our economy's in the toilet and we don't have a job and our nation has collapsed because of the war and sanctions after the war. We don't have that excuse. We're pretty dang prosperous right now. So that there's no reason for this. When someone called Jesus good teacher, and he said, "Why do you call me good? No one is good but the Father." The point he was making is, humans are not good. We're not good. We're all sinners. It disproves it. Somebody on social media tells you that it's all the Jews' fault, and some people just fall right into it, man. I mean, they just fall right into it. They believe it, hook, line, and sinker. It doesn't take much convincing. They don't need any proof. It's sick. It's disgusting. And if you push back on it, you're the bad guy. Meanwhile, they herald Islam. Like the Muslims have been very good at making themselves victims. They're not victims. They are a political and military organization disguised as a religion. And I'll do more on Islam in another video. That's not what this is really about. But it all kind of intertwines. It's all satanic. All of it is satanic. It's still Isaac and Ishmael fighting each other. If you ever wondered if the Bible is accurate, just look at what's going on today with Israel, with the Jews. Once again, we are repeating history. And we don't even have the excuse of, well, we didn't know. That history's been lost. Well, that was thousands of years ago. It was last century, and there are some people still alive from that time. So in the whole grand scheme of things, it's a blip on the radar from the 1940s to today. Less than 100 years. People were wanting to take down statues regarding the Civil War and stuff, and people say, "Look, you know, you're going to repeat history. Don't try to hide history." Even when we don't hide it, you can go right now and take tours of concentration camps. You could tour the ovens where people were put in and killed. It's there. You can listen to Muslims, Muslim leaders in Middle Eastern countries tell you, what they want to do to the Jews. They want them dead. Not just the Jews, Christians as well. They want them dead. But that's not happening. No one's saying that. It's the Jews. They want to nuke everybody. Really? They haven't done it yet. I mean, believe me, if Israel wanted to nuke people, they'd have nuked them. well, how come Israel has nukes, but we don't let Iran have nukes? Because Israel's not a death cult. That's why. The reason why the Soviet Union, as bad as communism is, the reason why mutually assured destruction worked with them was because they didn't want to die any more than we wanted to die. Communism may be a bad system, and it's killed millions of its own people, but the political leaders don't want to die. That doesn't work with crazy jihadists who want to die. But again, that's a story for another video. My point is, you got people out there who'll tell you to trust them more than Israel. Look, you can be critical of the Israeli government. No problem with that. You can be critical of the U.S. government. Believe me, I've been many a times. Doesn't make me any less an American. You can be critical of Israel, of the Israeli government, and not be anti-Semitic. But that's not what's going on. Don't let people fool you into that. Well, I'm just talking about the Israeli government. No, they're not. No, they're not. There's a big difference. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest as I'm driving through southern Colorado. Thank you for watching. God bless. And don't listen. Don't listen to these people. Don't let yourself be fooled into becoming a demonic or a supporter of a demonic force. Like, share, subscribe, that's all.